Straight ahead on CCX News, a Brooklyn Park missing child case leads to an arrest. Why police are asking for the public's help. Plus, a former Plymouth City employee now headed to prison. What he did to skirt government contract laws. And later, a New Hope church celebrating its history uncovers a century-old clue in its organ. CCX News starts right now. Hello everyone, and thanks for joining us. Brooklyn Park Police are asking for the public's help in finding a missing 3-year-old girl. Police say Trirecia Chamberlain was last seen May 1st after her father, Tremel Chamberlain, took her. According to the criminal complaint, the 30-year-old father was deemed unfit to care for children, and the toddler's mother is deceased. Tremel and a maternal aunt share legal and physical custody of the little girl. The aunt alerted police back in July after she hadn't seen the little girl in months. Police say Chamberlain refused to tell anyone about the girl's whereabouts. He was arrested on Monday, and police say he is still not cooperating.
We're really asking for anybody that may know where she is or have any information to please contact us, even if they think it's minor. We're still interested. She's been missing since May, so it's very concerning to us where she's at. And so we're asking the public if they have anyone out there that knows where she is or even where she was at one point, we're asking them to contact us.
Officials wouldn't go into details as to why the father was deemed unfit to be around children. If you have any information on this case, call Brooklyn Park Police. A former Plymouth City employee is headed to prison after receiving bribes and kickbacks in exchange for awarding government contracts. A federal court judge sentenced Ronnie Taggart to 2 years in prison. Taggart worked as the city's facilities supervisor from 2012 through 2016, earning an annual salary of $100,000 a year. According to court documents, Taggart received nearly $60,000 in bribes and kickbacks in exchange for awarding contracts outside of the city's competitive bidding process. Taggart tried to conceal the payoffs, encouraging contractors to submit fake bids and inflated bids to cover up what he received in return. He received cash and non-cash bribes such as new kitchen appliances, a new concrete driveway, a new garage door, and extensive landscaping work. The city of Plymouth responded to the announcement, saying they are gratified to see serious consequences for Taggart's actions. The sentencing includes Taggart paying restitution. The city was the first to notice Taggart's actions and report them to authorities. According to the U.S. Attorney's Office, no contractors have been charged in the kickback scheme. A Maple Grove man is accused in a ticket fraud scheme involving the University of Minnesota Athletic Department that went on for years. Brent Hulk was the university's former ticketing director. According to an FBI investigation, Hulk would delete ticket orders and have refunds issued to accounts under his control. It's not yet known how much fraudulent proceeds Hulk received. According to his attorney, his client intends to plead guilty and make restitution. A September report from Deed shows falling unemployment rates in Minnesota are an indicator labor markets are tightening up. Tight job markets mean employers are having a hard time finding the workers they want to hire. Design Ready Controls in Brooklyn Park is hiring, and they're taking a different approach. The control system manufacturer held a hiring open house on Thursday. You could just walk in and get interviewed, and if the company liked what they saw, they would hire you on the spot. The plan worked. They'd already gotten one new employee out of it when we checked in Thursday morning.
Labor market, we want to make sure that if we do see somebody that's the right fit, that we snatch them up and take them before they go out to another position.
And if you missed this event, don't worry, there's another one just like it coming up next month. Science and theater, the two are just as opposite as protons and electrons. But as reporter Meredith Hackler shows us, even opposites can work together in the name of education.
So then we sort the flies under the microscope here, and we separate out the mutants or whatever it is that we're looking for.
From the lab to the stage.
Another fly gone to the gutter.
Theater students and biology undergraduates collaborated to bring science and art together as one.
Still twitching.
I don't trust this guy.
He's dead, Don.
It's really important that the public understand what we do in the laboratory. And it's really important for us to be able to share that work with anybody who's interested, and also to be able to get people interested.
the theater students say, well, what should we do? How should we do this? And they say, well, this is what happens in science, and so let's find a way in which we can make that put that on stage.
They'll unveil the flies and they're gonna come out and say the classical music plays, and then we're like off scene.
We're off scene, yeah.
And communicating the scientists' findings on stage was the focus of theater students.
It wasn't really a performance as much as it was presenting our work.
Have you seen the fly with the yellow eyes?
Yeah, I heard that only happens 1 in 100 million.
The class is the first of its kind at North Hennepin Community College.
Ooh, this looks tasty.
Its goal is to show students the value of each other's majors.
Theater students stay in the theater, biologists stay in the lab. But taking both of them and working together and creating something together is, I think, something for life.
In science, when we're done with our work, we have to present it.
Teaching biology students how to communicate their findings.
There's a lot of small techniques that we learned in here, like projecting your voice and like little exercises to try and get relaxed before you go and speak in front of the audience.
They would talk us through their process, and I would have to learn how to ask questions.
And showing theater students the value of seeking information.
We talked about mutation, we talked about the genes and some evolution.
And inside this pupil case, the dark ones are ones that are about to become adult fruit flies.
The science behind the play presents the findings of students' research on fruit flies.
Was the animal harmed in this process?
What a fantastic question.
From the perspective of the fruit fly.
Kind of like a high school bully situation going on, and it did end up working out better for the one who kind of got picked on in the end.
Dance party!
The combination might seem a little strange. But the hope is that students can get out of their comfort zones and learn to work with anyone, no matter how different they may be.
I hope all the students take away the power of collaboration.
Meredith Hackler, CCX News.
Still ahead on CCX News, teaching children to honor those who serve. Plus, the Champlin Park Rebels hit the court for the opening day of the state volleyball tournament. But first, bundle up. Highs in the 20s for the next few days. Veterans Day is Sunday, but we are already seeing local schools honor veterans in special ways this week, including West Lutheran High School in Plymouth. Their Veterans Day event brought in veterans young and old for a breakfast followed by a ceremony in the gym. Students heard about soldiers' experiences like the infamous Baton Death March. A keynote speaker shared his perspective as a Navy veteran and a current Patriot Guard member, and of course there was Patriot music as well. School officials tell us area vets are grateful for the annual event.
Very appreciative for our community. They enjoy the breakfast and they enjoy coming here and seeing the kids and mingling with the kids.
Bain also says meeting the older generation of soldiers is important for children to understand what soldiers do for our country. Students at a Plymouth elementary school also honor veterans in a special way. In today's School Spotlight, Delene Cleveland explains how Greenwood Elementary integrates Veterans Day in the curriculum.
Oh my gosh, this is looking so cool.
The simple activity of putting together a puzzle.
There we go, we can connect the reds then.
Is something that can get an entire class involved.
Oh wow, we're almost there.
But for these second graders at Greenwood Elementary School in Plymouth, this American flag puzzle has a special significance.
I didn't really tell them what we were doing, I just kind of gave them hints on what to color, and then we puzzled it together and they're like, oh, it's for the veterans, and they really enjoyed that.
The puzzle says, "Thank you, veterans." And it's just one way the students here at Greenwood are honoring those who served.
I know some of my kids' parents actually are in the armed forces and are serving right now, so it's just something that is important for them to learn.
Even at this young age, many of the students have grasped the importance of the role that veterans play in our society.
We celebrate Veterans Day because veterans are very important. They serve for our country and help us have freedom.
To show their gratitude,
dear veterans, you are the best.
Each of these students wrote letters.
I thank you very much for sacrificing your life for us. Whenever you were gone, we always prayed that you were going to come back.
As a sign of respect for those who served.
Dear brave American, thank you for serving our country and protecting our community and people. Thank you for working hard.
The activity is in preparation for a Veterans Day assembly the kids are hosting this week. But written letters are only a small part of what they're doing.
We fight our country's battles on the air, on land, and sea.
These students also learned the hymns.
Anchors away,
of each military branch.
I get reports from bus drivers. They're singing on the bus. I mean, this is a thing that transcends a moment in time. It really is a spirit of gratitude for our veterans.
Veterans Day lands on November 11th, but the hope is that these activities will teach students that they can thank veterans at all times of the year.
Just to have that awareness in second grade is such a huge deal.
In Plymouth, Dwayne Cleveland, CCX News.
And here's a little trivia for you. We did not celebrate Veterans Day until 1954. Before then, November 11th was Armistice Day, which marked the official end of fighting in World War I. It's been 100 years since World War I officially ended, and Sunday a celebration is planned at Victory Memorial Parkway to remember that. The trees and monuments along Victory Memorial Drive honor the 56 Hennepin County servicemen and women who died in that war. The service begins at 10 a.m. and at 11 a.m. there will be a moment of silence to mark the moment the armistice took effect. It's also the moment, weather permitting, the flagpole will cast a shadow on the plaza. Up next, we share the story of a church organ that also has a link to World War I. But first, the Wayzata girls hockey team has plenty of returning talent this winter. We'll have a season preview of the Trojans. John Jacobson is in next.
I'm John Jacobson with sports. The Champlin Park volleyball team is back in the state tournament for a 5th straight season. The Rebels are now a win away from their 2nd state championship match appearance in 3 years. Champlin Park seeded 2nd in the tournament and carrying a 29-2 record into the quarterfinals against Moorhead. First set, and Wisconsin commit Izzy Ashburn sets to Sammy Hilly. She gets the kill. Rebels lead 6-3. Later, Katie Weimerskirch with the dig passes to Ashburn, who sets up Lauren Clark. Her attack off hands and out. Rebels go on to win the first set 25-15. Second set is a little closer, and off a Moorhead set serve, it's Emma Schmidt to Ashburn and back to Schmidt. Tips it over the blockers and down. It's 12-10 Champlin Park. Later in the second set, ball set to the middle. Hannah Praske comes through with one of her 7 kills in the match. Champlin Park wins the second set 25-17. The Spuds try to extend Champlin Park in the third set. Sam Zimmerman's attack not returned, and Moorhead is within 2 points at 9-7. But the Rebels are never seriously threatened in this match. Jordan Stalfus tips the ball over here. She finishes with 10 kills as Champlin Park wins in 3 sets to advance. After the match, the Rebels talked about tomorrow's opponent, Lakeville South, and about beating Moorhead for the 2nd time this season.
That game was really early on in the season, so we know that both teams have grown a lot since then. I mean, watching our old film on it, we couldn't even believe, like, this is where our team has come since then. So we knew they were going to be a tough team and they were going to come out and fight. And we just knew that we've grown so much, too, and we're a different team as well.
Oh, it's going to be a heck of a match. You know, we played them in September, you know, and it's a best of 3, and you can say what you want about a best of 3 versus a best of 5, but they've been the team that has been in the top 5 all year, if not number 4 all year, and nobody's really talked about them. It's been, you know, Egan, Lakeville North, and us, and oh yeah, that South team too, and it's like they're pretty darn good.
The Rebels play Lakeville South in the Class 3A semifinals Friday at 11 a.m. at XL. The Wayzata girls hockey team brings back a lot of returning players this season and will aim to build on last year's 19-win campaign. Here's Jason Melillo with a preview of the Trojans.
The Trojans broke the monotony of preseason practice earlier this week when they hosted a scrimmage against Farmington.
It's really nice to go out there and see what we can do in a real game situation, because practice is one thing, but being in a game is a whole other thing. And so if we think that we're good in practice, we'll just have to prove it out there during the scrimmages.
The scrimmage benefits us because we know what to work on. Like when we're putting each other out there and it's real time, you know, you got to make those decisions and snap decisions, snap plays, passes. So working on those in practice, we need to know what kind of things we need to improve on from the scrimmages.
Wayzata has a very strong core of returning players led by senior defenseman Emily Wisniewski and forwards Alexa Osseo and Sophie Urban, along with several younger girls who proved last season they can thrive at the varsity level.
We can jump right into the season and we're not really have to worry too much about getting back together with each other, because we already kind of have that chemistry and we already are kind of clicking. It does take at least a game or two just to get back together since we weren't playing together during the summer, but the chemistry is already there, so it's pretty easy to get back into it.
Head coach Jess Scott likes to alter her roster and line combinations throughout the season in order to foster competition and hopefully put all the pieces together come playoff time.
We are a very deep, talented team right now, and so I think it's good for our kids to feel like every day they have an opportunity to earn a spot, and likewise for players that are maybe where they want to be, that they still need to fight for that spot and to prove that they belong there. So it's been a good thing for us in the past, and we've learned things late in the season that we maybe didn't see right away.
Jason Malillo, CCX Sports.
Wayzata went 10-2 the second half of last season before losing in the Section 6AA semifinals. The Trojans open this season on Friday at home against Mounds View. That's all for sports. Back to you, Shannon.
All right, thanks, John. Up next, a birthday party for a church organ. Well, kind of. We'll explain up next. After World War II, the northwest suburbs were on the grow. As people moved into new homes, they built new houses of worship too. Some of those churches established then are celebrating significant milestones today, including Holy Nativity Lutheran Church in New Hope.
People that have joined, say, in the last 10 or 15 years, they don't know any of this history.
Holy Nativity Lutheran Church is celebrating 60 years this year.
I don't have any title now, but I used to be up to my eyeballs and everything.
Dean Burkholz remembers when the church wasn't located here on Winnetka Avenue.
I was chairman of the design committee where we had to come up with all this.
Flooding prompted the church to sell their first property at Winnetka and 36, where a strip mall is today.
So we were down there from 58 to 90. And
Dean still has pictures of crews tearing the old buildings down.
The old buildings didn't look like a church. They looked like two dentists' offices. And one of the first things we told the architect when we met with him, we want a building that looks like a church.
And not only should the new space look like a church, it should sound like one too.
The organ has had such an interesting history in churches.
Lisa Baker has played the organ here since 2004 and says a special committee searched just to bring the organ here.
Each organ is completely unique. You will never find two that are exactly the same.
They found a Henner's pipe organ in storage, thinking it was about 40 years old.
Yeah, so at first they didn't realize how old it was, but then there were some inscriptions written inside.
But writing inside the organ recorded what was happening in 1918 in the then called Great War.
It's kind of a mystery to us, but maybe that's what they did at the time. They just put something in there just to say something about the time.
That writing meant the organ is older than the congregation, and it's an inspiring part of Holy Nativity services each Sunday.
When I play during worship, I'm worshiping God through my music. It's meaningful, it's meant to inspire.
The organ concert begins at 7 o'clock Friday night, and you can find more details on Holy Nativity's website. A celebration of church history is planned for Sunday. And that's all the news we have for now. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you right back here again tomorrow starting at 4.